Or are you still waiting for me? Hi, everybody. It's Debbie from Spooky Things with Debbie. How's everybody doing tonight? I know it's been a couple of weeks since we've been able to do the show, but we've had a lot going on. And the good news is we're getting ready to do the Medieval Faith Fest. And yay, it's finally here. It's been in production for a long time, but it's this weekend, guys. I know you've been hearing it from me a lot, but it's finally here and it's this weekend. So it's been busy, busy, busy. But that being said, our guest tonight is a very fascinating person, and I am very happy to introduce Mr. Charles Poston. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking.
Have we been keeping you busy?
You have indeed. Being a bit of a folklorist, I've had to dig into some Celtic, some trying to get more than your standard pixie and sprites situation going. So,
Well, I tell you, Teresa has said just absolutely wonderful things. She's so thrilled with the way that you've been incorporating everything that you have done into this Faith Fest. And folks, when you guys come to the Faith Fest, you're going to see what all Mr. Poston has put together. And I'm telling you, it is just very, very, very impressive. And we are so glad to have you on our team with us. We really are. And I want to say thank you so much for everything that you've done for us. And
you guys have been very easy to work with and very open to suggestions. And I'm looking forward to reactivating. Like in the 90s, I had a company that was basically, we turned your parties into events. And I wanna resurrect that. Actually, my kids are making me resurrect that because recently they've told me that I'm old and lame. So,
oh, you heard that too?
uh-huh. Well, when you're sitting there in a conversation with your old friend, the contortionist that can break 2 world records, and he's going over, hey, do you remember the time that we did this? And my 16-year-old looked at me and said, Dad, you used to do this stuff, now you're just lame. So, yeah.
Wow, you used to be so cool.
Yeah, I know, right? Uh-huh.
I know.
Yeah, that's
I
the fun
know.
part.
I still show my kids some of the things that I've done in the past, and sometimes I'm going to be honest with you, they just kind of do one of these things like, oh, oh my God, and I'm like, oh, it was a long time ago,
Well,
like that makes me better.
I am glad that my children have enjoyed my musical tastes, but it's not standard, radio play. So Like they're big fans of Oingo Boingo, Devo, the Dead Milkmen, stuff along those lines. So all the weird and strange music there ever was. So yeah,
By the way, Charles, if you see me looking over this way, my screen is big, so I'm looking at you like right here, and that's me looking
okay,
at my camera. Okay,
okay,
and
yeah,
so and you are over here. You, yeah, you're
straight,
right there. So if you see me looking over here, I'm looking at you.
gotcha,
So
gotcha.
there's been people that's come on here and said, "What is she looking at?" I'm looking at you, but my screen
Oh,
is just it's big, and it's big because I can't see crap, and I need something big so I can see.
right, yeah.
But
So definitely. So what are we going to talk about tonight?
you know, oh man, we're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. Um, I want to know now. I used to sword fight on the
Okay,
chessboard at the Skya in Miami for the
okay,
Renaissance.
yeah,
I don't know if you've ever heard of the Vizcaya chessmen.
yeah. I
And
have. I have.
have you?
Yes,
I was one.
nice.
And nice. Oh, I'm telling you what. And the people going back to then were the most amazing group of people. Now they were all a little bit younger than me. I think I was like about 10 years older than them. Because I look at their ages today and I'm like, huh, you're behind me about what, 12, 15 years, some of them 10 years. So I mean, I really had to like show it because these guys were good. I mean,
Right.
really good. And to be able to perform with them on the chessboard was like an absolute thrill for me. And it's one of the best times of my life, I have to say. Um, but I've seen a lot, so many Ren fairs and medieval fairs and all kinds of stuff like that from being around that at that time. I know how difficult this is.
Yeah,
I
no, and
and
it's
I yeah, it's hard.
it it is.
And
It's a hard thing.
it is. And I've seen you put this thing together. And
Now,
I
now
told
wait.
Teresa, I said, "Mm,
I just put the storyline together. Teresa and everyone else has been doing a lot of the groundwork there. I'm in Brunswick, so all I can do is be creative, write up, and do things along those lines. Everyone else
you
is
don't give
like,
yourself enough credit. You've done great."
well, thank you very much.
It's true.
And I mean, coming up with easy solutions for setting. Um, it's always been a logistical puzzle, and I was the entertainment director for I was the accidental entertainment director for the St. Louis Renaissance Fair their first year. Basically, I
Oh,
was the assistant entertainment director, and the main one had a nervous breakdown 2 months before the show, so I had to take over.
easy to
Yeah,
see.
yeah, totally. And we did a great job, and then I took over the fantasy realm because they decided to have a fantasy realm, and that worked out well. So,
Oh, I'm I'm so excited about this adventure because I can't wait to see what unfolds myself.
right,
And I'm I'm going to be just as surprised as a lot of other people to see a lot of things going on because it's going to be the first time I've seen this particular thing myself,
right.
and I'm just thrilled about it. But being involved in this kind of a situation for so many years, I know how hard it is to put something like this together,
Yeah, yeah.
and it,
I think
it
that
and I think it's been amazing. It's been an amazing journey, and you've been so instrumental in making it
like
so much easier.
well, thank you.
And I
And
just wanted to say
the vision for this fair to continue on I mean, we're already talking. I'm already thinking about next year's storyline.
Oh yeah.
You
Oh
know,
yeah. Oh,
the
and for
the
our
idea.
listeners out there, Mr. Polston is going to be with us future. I mean, we're not letting him off with one. No,
Not at
we're
all.
keeping
Yeah.
we're
Why? Thank
keeping it.
you. Why? Thank you.
So
Um, but okay, so I initially, before I got when I got into entertainment, I was a storyteller, and I have about 600 stories memorized. About 20 or 30 of them are medieval in nature. Um, but I'm also a folklorist, and I have studied um, the legends of the fair folk, and the Tuatha De Danann, the She, on any number of the fair folk when it comes down to it, because they're very fascinating storyline creature. They come
mhm.
from our imagination. They feed off of our imagination. So, but they are more importantly, they come from our subconscious, because our subconscious is very literal when it thinks about things, and it has mysterious ways to interpret statements. So most of the legends of the fairies were based upon archetypes of our subconscious.
Okay. What? Let's go back a little bit farther. What is? What do you think the description, an actual description? Now we could be going into cryptozoology at this point.
Right.
What do you consider the description of Fae? What is your description of Fae?
Okay. So fae are creatures that they're more archetypes than they are species when it comes down to it. Like a goblin, no two goblins look alike. And when it's like when you're discussing the Seelie and Unseelie court, it's just the light and the dark. Now, granted, your chances of survival with the Unseelie court are slim to none, you know, where in the Seelie court, you're just gonna be sent hundreds of years into the future, or some other nonsense that occurs.
Okay.
Um, definitely the legends of. And I love when I'm doing regular run fairs, I go as the Fay catcher, mainly to pester people, and I got a nice bug sprayer and such, um, I've had encounters where this little girl is like, fairies are good, and I'm like, no, they're not. What about Tinkerbell? Tinkerbell tried to kill Wendy twice. What about the tooth fairies? Tooth fairies are really small bone fairies, and that just let her go continuously going on. And it's like, and also, we vilify a lot of the fairy characters. Rumpelstiltskin, for example. What did Rumpelstiltskin do wrong? You know the story of Rumpelstiltskin, right?
Yes. Yes, I do.
He made a deal
Um,
with the princess to spin hay into gold. The deal was solid.
yes.
Firstborn child. She whined and cried about it. And if it wasn't for his own arrogance, he would have had full right to that child. And when you think about the Totenkinder in the woods, with Hansel and Gretel, right? Everyone knew the Witch of the Woods ate children. It was the parents that led the children into the woods so they could be eaten. They are the true villains in these stories.
They're the true villains. Yeah.
And this is the one that I really love to get. into is, what was that giant doing before Jack came around? In the story,
Oh,
he was just going to work each day and coming home.
yeah, he was just doing his thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and Jack breaks into his place, sweet talks the wife, steals his stuff, and commits involuntary giant slaughter. And these are our heroes.
You're right.
What are we
Oh,
teaching our
it's so
children?
true. Oh, God. And we sit back and we say, why? Oh, why would he do that?
Right.
Oh, God. It's true. You are right.
You know?
And now I'm sitting here thinking about all these horrid stories. And it's like, oh my God, I'm amazed my kids grew up out of prison.
Well, I mean, okay, now,
Oh,
popular entertainment in the Middle Ages was the Punch and Judy show. Do you know about this?
yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Punch, Mr. Punch, who was a wicked, nasty man, married to Judy, he would beat people over the head and throw them out the window. He was a
He would.
serial killer. Yay! Let's show. He kills
Yeah,
his
they are.
wife. He kills his baby. He kills his wife. He kills the merchant. He kills his best friend. He kills the judge. And when the devil comes to take him, he hits him over the head and throws him out the window. And he goes, "Hooray! The devil's dead. We can do whatever we want." Yeah, that's the entertainment. So yeah, don't give me this nonsense that our entertainment teaches violence. I mean, we've had this entertainment for centuries.
Well, Charles, if he's going to do it, he may as well do it right.
Right.
Take them all. The Punch
Oh,
and Judy, I mean, that they get really wild with Punch and Judy.
yeah, yeah.
They
I've
do.
had the I've had this dream of making giant body puppets of Punch and Judy because as children we lived in a land of giants and just do the whole entire Punch and Judy show in these body puppet kind of things. I've had wonderfully crazy and creative ideas that I have to put on stage, and
Would be funny.
almost
Morbidly
definitely,
so, but would be funny.
yeah. So I mean,
And it's true. That's a highlight of almost any Ren fair that you go to, is the puppets with Punch and Judy. It's one of the
exactly,
highlights. Yeah.
exactly. So the concept and the story that I think that we've all agreed upon is this fair is being hosted by a, a conglomerate of fey merchants, if you will. Fey and gentle, like normal folk merchants. It's
Oh,
a,
don't leave me hanging. A
yeah.
conglomerate. What?
Well,
Oh,
I
what a terrible
mean,
time to lose connection. There you are.
I have, we have, um, dragons under glamour.
Oh no, we have to go back because
Go,
we lost signal with you, and the
oh,
last thing
okay.
we heard was a conglomeration of, and then it's like,
Uh,
oh no, we're not going to stop there. We gotta know.
we're a conglomerate of fairy merchants, fairy and human merchants that are having a fair. We're not of the Seelie or unseelie court. We don't get invited to their fancy little parties at all. We're the commoners. We are the uncommon court of commoners, and that is the Bureau of Commerce. kind of deal. And we have a beautiful pavilion. Um, we've invited a pirate Vardo as entertainers with belly dancers, and a lot of our vendors and a lot of our actors are helping with a quest. There will be a quest that is going on as well. Also, before I forget, important, we are having a costume contest, and technically unofficially, it's our auditions for next year's fair. We're looking for talent for next year's fair.
Yes.
So, because this year we are the uncommon court of commoners, but next year we're going to be invaded by the other courts. So,
And the saga goes on.
exactly,
The
it
saga
should be
goes on.
it should be an interesting storyline.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm
And
so happy to be a part of it.
as it stands, it's like my persona for the fair, Phineas T. Kitch. I'm a mortal man. I've just been face struck. I made a mistake and got into servitude for 7 years, and then I kind of drifted around the wilds, came back to the mortal realm, then back to the wilds so many times that I just don't know anymore. Um,
It's not far from the truth, actually, for a lot of
well,
us.
that is true. Throughout the 90s, I don't know which side of the mirror I'm on. So, anyways,
I don't remember a whole lot of the 90s.
well, I
They were
uh,
fun.
I spent the entire 90s hitchhiking across the country. Started
Did
in
you really?
90 I started in 92 and ended around 2001.
Wow.
Yeah. Traveled with the Grateful Dead. I did Renaissance fairs. I did raves. I did rainbow gatherings. Went to Golden Gate Park and had the
Oh my
experience
goodness.
on Haight Street, Haight Ashbury, just to, see the locations like the Janis Joplin tree or the carousel or Hippie Hill, where they filmed one of the Star Treks. Um, but yeah, I had a very interesting decade of the 90s. And
That
then
is interesting.
I went from homeless to homeowner within 5 years. So, you know, I don't know. It's been a very fun life.
Do you still own that same home?
Technically, yes. It's down in Folkestone, Georgia. Right now I'm renting it out, but it's 4.5 acres.
Nice.
I want to
Nice.
turn it into a destination bed and breakfast where we can have retreats as well as, you know, I don't know. It needs to earn money.
Yeah, I've got 5 acres up here myself, and it's like I just keep looking around at all this land around me. It's like I could live off this land so easily. And
Well,
every year I say the same thing. But
you can
what
1 acre of
may I
land,
do?
with conventional farming can sustain a family of four. So if you have 5 acres, you can, now in permaculturing and hugelkulturing and some of the other experimental agriculture, you can triple that and have chickens and all kinds of different other things.
I want my chickens back. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I love me some chickens.
Yeah, no, chickens are fun if you
Um,
have a small number of them. But
yes. I don't want like 50 of them. I just want a few of them.
we made the
Teresa's got,
mistake of having.
oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. What were you going to say?
You made the mistake of having chickens. What, too many of them?
50 of them, yeah.
That's a lot of
The
clucking going
ex-wife thought, yeah, the ex-wife thought it was a wise idea to buy 50 chickens, and there's a reason why they call them fowl.
on. Yes. Mine were foul.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
100%.
Teresa, Teresa, what just had something up there. Teresa, put that back up there. I wanted to see that you had put up there. I don't know why it went down so quick, but she was talking about Alice in Wonderland with the I think she's trying to relate it to the Fae. Um,
Okay.
Tinkerbell, Alice in Wonderland. No, not the rabbits. Rabbits are cute though. Yes, there we go. Tinkerbell, fairy dust. Alice in Wonderland, magic mushrooms
Well, and cakes, and tea,
and
and
cakes and tea.
mirrors.
Yeah, Alice was loaded with them. That
Yep.
Alice in Wonderland is nothing but one big trip.
Well, yeah.
It is.
Um,
Um,
I used to state that as I got older, I refused to forget the secret ways. Like to get to Never Never Land, it's the second star on the left straight on till morning. And yes, you used the pixie dust from Tinkerbell to fly and happy thoughts, but it was that whole second star on the left straight on till morning. And which wardrobe do you walk through to go to Narnia? Um, there, when was the last time you thought about the 100 Acre Wood? Um, and how many rabbit holes have you fallen down? These are all part of, Joseph Campbell wrote about the hero's arc and such as that. And these are our childhood's hero's arc. This is what our brains, our imaginations as children come up with. Um, and okay, so when I made a statement that fairies are creatures of our subconscious and our imagination. That's kind of what they are. As children, um, we can, the statement that the monster under the bed is really there for the kids kind of makes sense because the children are forming their understanding of reality, using their nine senses to define what reality is. And in doing so, they come up with a lot of crazy ideas. As adults, we will not be able to see the monster because we've passed that threshold and we have convinced ourselves our paradigm shifted to the fact that monsters can't live under the bed. You know, um, but it's in my belief these creatures that we have in legend and in story and in you know in our myth cycle, these stories are based upon, um, in my opinion, the amount of the solidification of these myths. If my kid tells your kid about the pixie lady with butterfly wings that bit her finger, and that kid starts thinking and such, and it's passed down the line, you know, then all of a sudden we start seeing butterfly ladies.
Right. And Teresa put a ring around the rosies, pocket full of posies,
That's about
ashes,
plague.
ashes. We all
Yeah,
fall down.
that's all about the plague.
That's all
You
about
know.
the. I did not know that.
Well, yeah, that's
That's
about
about
the
the
plague.
plague.
Ring around the rosies. You would your cheeks became flush. Pocket full of posies because you started to smell bad. You would put flowers in your pocket. Achoo, achoo. We all fall down. You start sneezing. Yeah.
Okay. Now that you explained it, it all makes complete sense how that came around. That's
And
very interesting.
so yeah. Yeah, I'm really fun at parties when it comes down to these things.
You're fun anyway. Um, you are. You are. Um, this is an interesting question here. Have your experiences been primarily folklore research, spiritual interaction, or paranormal investigation? Or do you think it's been a blend of all three of them?
It's more of a blend of all three of them. It's
Yeah.
when I started working in, all right, so I've studied the Hermetic principles, um,
Okay.
the Emerald tablets, and they're kind of the blueprint on how reality works. And when you start working. All right, so you are the center of your reality, right? You
Supposed.
write what you are. You personally, Debbie, are the center of your own reality. Okay. Your reality is defined by its nine senses. The five senses that we all know. Then there's the sense of time. We have an internal clock, our circadian rhythms. There's a sense of place. We have a directional sense. There's a sense of being. That would be the whole I think, therefore I am process. And then the ninth sense is our connection to the Akashic record.
Okay.
Okay, so by this, those nine senses define your reality, and it's
True.
your experiences that have made that definition. Now, and what you think is real and solid as reality, kind of deal, is actually mutable. With particle physics, string theory and such, they talk about the fact that all matter is wavelength. Well, that is one of the Hermetic principles, the principle of vibration. And also, the reason why particle physics gives scientists such a tizzy is so above, so below. It's the macro and the micro. If it applies here, it needs to apply the same here. And when you get small enough, it doesn't really apply because you discover that reality is actually very mutable. Now, you ride on a bigger reality stream, the collective sense reality of all of your friends and the people that are around you. That is how I kind of understand the mechanics of reality. Now, myth, cryptids, legends, all these folklore creatures, they serve a purpose. The boo hag steals your skin and impersonates you to your relatives unless you hang a broom by your door, so because she's got to count the tines. And a boo hag is an Appalachian fairy, when it comes down to it, you know. And okay, I might be a little, according to my reality stream and my paradigm view of things, it's like I made the mistake of naming shadow people and now they pester me all the time. It's okay. Just don't name these things. Don't give them a name because that gives them an identity and now they can start messing with you.
There's a lot of truth to that. And you know, a lot of times when people will come up to me and start talking about, well, these shadow people, this or that, and I remind them that a lot of times shadow people, in my experience, a lot of times they're elementals. Are you familiar with elementals?
Yeah, yeah. The fact that they are more related to the element of light or the absence thereof.
Mhm.
But the shadow people more work on our anxieties and fears when it comes down
Yeah.
to it, because they are the ones we see, the thing that we see dancing on our peripheral vision, and we
Yes.
look at it like, what the hell's that? Concept. Um, so it's the shadow people are constructs of elemental constructs of our consciousness, um, and the subconscious mind helps feed and create these things. If you have a bunch of people who hear the story of Jenny of the Iron Teeth, then the legend of then Jenny starts to take form. And as that legend continues to grow, it's she becomes the monster under the bed, you know, where hearth spirits, home spirits like brownies or gnomes, um, they're there to help. But you didn't you didn't leave out the crust of bread and the honeyed milk because you were being nice to the fairies. You left it out so that it was paying your protection fee.
Right.
In the legends, it wasn't like, oh, I'm doing this to have fairy friends. No, it's like, you leave
No,
us alone now. You know,
exactly. And one of the things that I suggest to some of the people is, especially with your elementals that are more outside, which of course are great more than the ones that you find inside. But I always tell them everything needs a job. If it doesn't have a job, then it's aimlessly wandering. It needs to have a purpose. So
right,
my suggestion to them, what, right? So my suggestion to them was get a plant, get a few plants, get a lot of plants, plant them outside. And it's like, that's your job. It's your job to take care of these.
well,
And a lot of times what occurs is that the people will come back and say, that worked. It's because you gave them a purpose
right,
and they're busy with their job. You've given them that purpose. They don't need to come to you anymore to whatever, irritate you, aggravate you, whatever. They now have a purpose. And
right.
people have found success with that. So
I it's
I
one
don't
of
mind,
Yeah, one of the things like I make for the more cantankerous of spectral energies is, I mean, it's technically an old ghost trap spell jar. Uh, I take salt from the Dead Sea. No, really, don't ask me how I got it. I'll show you. I'll show you this weekend. I'll show you the big rock of it. Salt from the Dead Sea, certain herbs and spices, broken mirror, and in the center of it, I put coffin nails, iron coffin nails, and a shard of Vivianite to lock it up.
Okay.
The the mirror acts as a distraction to count the reflections. The salt is a purifier. Like it's like you're not.
Mhm.
They're not going to get away from it. The iron coffin nails them to the spot. And if it's a ghost, Vivianite is known as the necrostone because it has been known to grow on corpses. That is, I personally like that as a ghost trap, and I make those.
Interesting. Now, in your opinion, how do you
Mhm.
think the Fey world interacts with the world today? Now, you've mentioned already a few things, but how do you think that technology comes into play with this whole thing?
Well, the Fae are very adaptive to their environment. Um, I'm hearing new legends of, say, the Tangle fairies, the sock goblins, the bed gnomes. These are children are beginning to talk about these things in their interactions. So, how? um, What was the question again?
In your opinion, how does it interact technology with the
Oh, how does
Fae
technology?
interacting with people? And how would technology fit into that? How do you think that the
I
interaction
think
between Fae and technology?
I don't think that Fae are interacting with technology. I think that technology is another bugaboo unto itself.
I
It
agree.
is it is
I completely
becoming, we walk around with our black mirrors in our hands, watching 30-second clips that entertain us. Very we miss a lot of what's going on. I think of the Jethro Tull song Jack of the Green, and like in the song it talks about the spirit of Jack of the Green, the one who basically keeps the grass to himself all winter long until it's time for it to grow. And in the song it's like, what with these changing times, motorways, power lines, will that keep us apart? I don't think so. I saw some grass growing through the pavement today. The fact is, as much as we push things, try to push nature out, nature will find a way in. These are creatures, elemental creatures of nature, of imagination, of nightmare and anxiety. You know, uh, that is, yeah, so I don't think, I think they operate like they always have, and those who are not stuck in their phone land can pay attention to them and see them.
I agree. I agree. I just see both of them as being entirely on two ends of the spectrum. And
Exactly, and the pendulum swings.
you
Here's the
know,
thing:
swing.
we like to think that like we're so advanced, we're so we're so cool with all our new toys and such as that. The Sumerians were the first written language cuneiform, and we have about 6 million tablets, clay tablets of cuneiform. And of that 6 million, about 10% of it has been translated. So about 600,000. And of that 600,000, only about 10% of that is literature. Do you know what the rest are? They're, they're receipts, honeydew lists, contracts, and letters home from college kids complaining that they do not have enough money to go out to the bars and buy new clothes. I kid you not.
I believe it. I
This
believe it.
so so the fact is we have not advanced in society. Like our social we are the same as we were. And okay, so that was about what? 16 is that 16,000 years ago? Yeah, 16 to 18,000 years ago the Sumerian culture existed. We they are saying that at the earliest we've been civilized man for 20,000 years. Now here's the thing, we have been this species homo sapiens sapien for 100,000 years. So you mean to tell me that we were hunter gatherer for 80,000 years? That doesn't seem right, does it?
It doesn't. No, it doesn't.
And so perhaps because, and we have this fear of end times apocalyptic situations because we faced apocalyptic situations before.
Exactly.
And we're barely finding remnants of Sumerian culture because it's being ground down and lost, and you know, we are not. What makes us think that? And that's only 20,000 years ago. What makes you think 40,000 years ago anything survives from 40,000 years or 60,000 years ago? And perhaps we, at these times, earlier times that we have no recollection of because there's no way to find it, perhaps these are where we've run into the Yeti kind and the Fey folk and quote unquote the ancient aliens or extra dimensional creatures. You know,
It's interesting to hear you with a lot of things that you're saying because my son Devin has got so many views the same as what you do. And
right?
you are like speaking his language right now. You really are. And he tells me all the time, excuse me, that human beings are the species of amnesia. That, you
Interesting.
know, so much, yes. And he says that constantly. He goes, Mom, I'm telling you, humans are just victims of amnesia. They constantly repeat the same thing. And it's just when you hear him explain it, it's like with you explaining it. It seems to make so much sense. And he's got some very, very strong beliefs with the Anunnaki. And,
Right.
you know,
I do. I do a
you,
lot of
you
that.
and him would have great discussions.
I can't wait for you to sit down and pick my. I'm really skeptical on our our preconceived motivations of the Anunnaki. We don't know they are if they existed. We don't know how they thought because they are alien to us. It's like fairies and the way fairies think. They are very literal about things. And they can speak stuff into existence. Which means they can, they, by legend, they rewrite reality,
Yes.
which bugs the hell out of us because we're told reality is solid, it is unchanging, there is no question to it. But yet you have a personal reality stream, I have a personal reality stream, and I know that I'm the center of the universe because the universe expends from me in all directions infinitely. Isn't that an arrogant thing to say?
No, it sounds like something Devin would say.
But
It's like I'm talking to Devin.
everybody can say that.
Yep.
Everyone can say that and it be a true statement.
That's
We
true.
like this yes no logic, this on off thinking, which that works with technology and such, because it's easy. We're kind of lazy about things. There is an answer for everything, and this is just how it is. And if you question it, you might be a wackadoo.
Okay. Which takes me over to my next question. This is
Mhm.
something for thought. What is your opinion on portals such as fairy rings, ancient mounds, or crossroads being literal gateways into the fairy realm?
So, I did state earlier that I don't know which side of the mirror I'm on. I've
Yes.
stumbled down too many rabbit holes and ended up places that I believe that we naturally go through these shifting realities and such. And when there is a global paradigm shift, we have these things pop up like the Mandela effects. I don't I don't believe that this is the reality of my origin. I I remember certain things and that everyone's like, no, the internet says that that's not true or stuff along those lines. So I used to joke around that I was a reality surfer, and when I was hitchhiking across the country, I'd find a location that had good waves. I'd surf the town for a good month and a half, and then I'd drift off to the next location or next festival or whatever I was doing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I so I can state that I've probably shifted, that I know that I've gone through these portals, and I'm currently not in my home, but that's okay. My home reality, as far as I'm concerned, sucks because I left there, kind of deal. Um, do I believe that I've accidentally fallen into the land of Fae? No, but I think that it is possible. I have talked to people that have had these moments where and of course, psychology, because everything has to sit in a neat box, calls these things schizophrenic episodes or, labels them as something. Um, I don't believe, well, no, it's not true. I do believe in schizophrenia. It is a real thing. You know, um, I think that the way we approach it is a little shameful because schizophrenics, as they are communicating, they're just using a different narrative, and a lot of times it's very symbolic or metaphoric as they speak, and if you can't pick up on what they're trying to describe. I had a friend who has she had a traumatic experience where felt like her life was shattered. And then she tried to explain to everyone that she has a boyfriend in the sky and it's Osiris. And every time she dates someone, for a long period of time, they have a piece of Osiris, her boyfriend in the sky. Which I promptly looked at her when she first described it to me and says, like, so what you're saying is you're trying to rebuild who you were by using people and friends around you to tie things together because you experienced this very traumatic kind of mind shattering event. And she said, like, that's exactly what I've been trying to tell people forever. We don't listen to the metaphor. Yeah.
Okay. Now, that right there, what daily practices or rituals do you use to align with Hermetic teachings?
Ah.
Kind of goes in line with this.
I am aware of the vibration and the pendulum, um, and the ana and amana of life. I can see that in the patterns, um, in my interactions, stuff along those lines. And in doing so, it's more of lining up, um, tweaking your frequency so things are more advantageous. Um, by studying the Hermetic principles, I could look at a Gardnerian Wiccan ritual and understand why it works. Because these Gregorian chants, a prayer, a prayer circle, any form of manifestation by will, I can look at the how it's set up, and understand why it works the way it works for these people, for people.
Which would go into connection with what you were just speaking about with this young lady.
Yes.
She very much utilized that same thought process, and she used that to as a tool to help her try to make people understand where she was coming from in that fashion,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Totally.
Okay. And that's very interesting. That's actually quite fascinating. Um,
Yeah. Go ahead.
Now, have you?
I think I lost you.
I'm just really digging in deep here with you because I find you absolutely fascinating. Um, how would you think would be a good way for modern man today? Okay, public in general.
Mm-hmm.
What would be your best suggestions to them with the interacting of the Fey world and to understand it better?
Okay, so our understanding of our world, our environment, our
Right.
understanding of reality is the story that we tell ourselves. And we are the authors of our story. We decide who we want to be. And in a lot of ways, because there is that lie that is told to us that, oh no, you are going to be X, Y, or Z. Um, we we are the authors of our story. And yes, we get there are external factors that cause pain and anguish, trauma. I don't like the word trauma because if you're describing your trauma, then you're living your trauma and you're not healing from your trauma, even though talking about your trauma feels good about you're just stuck in the trauma cycle. Um,
That's true.
saying that
That's true.
saying that I've survived bad things, and yes, some of my worldview is formed from the fact that these bad things happen. That's the antagonist concept of the story. That's the fates. That's the situation. You asked how can we interact? How can modern man interact with the Fey world? Well, change your narrative. Begin to accept a more wider, uncomfortable, wilder view of how reality works. If you
Right.
The Romans believed that the muses were spirits that lived in the walls. And when you carved that statue or painted, made that mosaic or whatever it was that you did, it wasn't you, it was the spirits of the muses that went through you to create this art. So the ego of the artist was taken out of it. The muses, with my help, made this for the world to see. Right?
Yes.
This is why we would get, we get our all of a sudden we get a bump of inspiration for no apparent reason for some wild and crazy art installation. You know,
That's true.
um, some the latest play or video short or what have you. These are kind of forces that you can say, well, yeah, that comes from my subconscious, blah 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 blah, which is kind of boring. If you look at the what they're trying to sell us as realities, damn fucking boring. But we have the ability to be the author and write this. You know, I when I was 23 years old, I woke up one morning with a black eye given to me by a girl, which I rightfully deserved. And I looked in the mirror and said, I don't want to be this person. I want to change. So I tried to figure out what character did I like in all the heroes arcs, in all the stories. I don't want to be the hero because the hero literally has to die and go to hell to actually accomplish the task and save his true love. I don't want to be that guy. I want to be the guy the hero meets alongside the road, the one that sells him the magic beans kind of deal. I want to be that guy. I want to be the trickster. I love trickster stories. I love Coyote and Anansi and all of the and fairies. trickster. They're all amazing tricksters when it comes down to it. So that has always been the like what I when I left, when I started hitchhiking, because you can't change when you're in home at your house. Everyone remembers who you were, so you can't. You have to hitchhike. You have to leave your area, and I invented myself as Jester, and I wandered, the country as the traveling jester, not just a name, but an occupation as well. And like I said, I did street performances. I'd tell stories. I would, remind people that this is how things are, and remember these stories. And we are stories. That's all we really are, is a story that we tell ourselves and we tell the universe. In the Hermetic principles, the first principle is the principle of mentalism, the principle of thought. And in it, it states that the universe thought us all into existence. It manifested everything into existence so we could experience, so it could experience what it was like to be us. You are the universe wondering what it's like to be you. So the stuff that happens is, in the end, this all adds to the universal understanding of things. Now, because as above, so below, the ability of the universe to think things into existence is equal. We have that because we are a chunk of the universe. We're a part of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
So in that power, we define our reality. And I kind of like defining the reality with fairies and elves and Sasquatches in it. It's a funner story. And I have seen things that indicate that, you know, I've experienced stuff that would indicate that fairies exist, you know.
Well, so do you believe that as above, so below is means for human consciousness in relation to the divine?
Yes, and it could be defined like that. Yes, that would be one way to define it. There are other ways to look at that as well. Um, yeah, I would state that for our terms in this evening's discussion, yeah, that would be a safe way to put it.
A safer way. Well, I find you fascinating. I just really, truly do. And I could do this all night. Unfortunately, my producer is telling me I can't.
It's time. Yeah, no, it's
It's,
time.
but
Well,
we've got all weekend.
yeah, I'm going to be there Thursday, uh, getting ready to build on Friday. So this all should be fun.
It is going to
Um,
be a blast. Charles, thank
yeah,
you so much for coming on. I mean, but I'll be seeing you. I think we're having a directors meeting on Thursday night. So I'll be
Thursday
probably
night.
be
Yeah,
seeing you on Thursday night.
yeah.
Yeah. So everybody out there, I want to remind everybody, Mr. Charles Poston and Stan and Teresa Fikes and myself, we are discussing the Medieval Faith Fest that has come out of our minds and into reality this weekend. And I want to thank everybody out there for coming. and listening to the show. And you guys come on out and see what's going on. And this is just the beginning. This is probably, I think Charles will agree with me, this particular year is going to be the smallest Faith Fest we'll
Yeah,
be putting on. Yeah, because every year it's going to continue and continue. And it's going to take on a life of its own. And it's going to be something really amazing. That is just, people are going to want to come back to say, what's going on this year? Where are we
that's
going at with
right.
this year? And
That's correct.
that's just the wonderful thing about this. Charles, thank you so much for coming. And
Thank
everybody
you for
out
having
there
me.
this weekend, oh gosh, it's been my pleasure. This weekend, November the 8th and the 9th, doors open at 11. We're staying open till about 7 or until you guys get sick of us. And then Sunday, same hours. And we'll see everybody hopefully there. It's at the Jackson County Ag Center, which is right outside of Marianna on Highway 90. It's very easy to get to. So everybody, we hope to see you there. And until then, see you guys on Saturday or Sunday. Charles, I'll be seeing you on Thursday night. Bye, everybody.
You guys have a good one. Bye now.